I
I
pledge
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All righty. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. We'll go ahead and go right into the board minutes for September 6th. Decision.
I never got the board minutes on this. Well, I never read.
Oh, no.
Mine came through, it was early last week, like
Yeah.
Wednesday.
Yeah, she was right on it, yeah.
Yeah, and it came through, but now I don't have nothing, and I don't know. My email, I just talked to her, I'm gonna have you see if you can send me some,
Okay,
so, but I did look them over. But if you have, if you want to table them for next week, we can. It's up to
Well-
you, so.
I did read them, I didn't see anything. So I make a motion to approve the board minutes for September 6th.
Oh, second. Justin.
Preston, please.
Any public comment? Being none, all in favor? Aye. Motion carried. All righty, we'll go right into correspondence. Thank you. The first one is from the United States Department of Agriculture, or it's Beaver. They're putting in a solar array adjacent to the top terminal of Anaconda triple chair on the chair. Getting permits put in the chair or something.
Where at?
Discovery. Oh, here's a map and everything for it.
So this correspondence isn't posted yet, but yet you'll post it what after?
oh, is it, I thought she had posted everything. Oh, I will post it.
Okay, the next one is from Mako, and it's Mako conference, but we are hosting an appreciation dinner the evening of the 27th, and it is Billings at 6:30. Somebody wants to go.
I think you're not going to Mako. Anyone?
I should, but I just don't have to go to Billings.
Okay, and the next one is from Annabelle Locke. She is, I regret to inform you that
And we got that last week. That was on correspondence for last week,
yeah,
and we went ahead and let her resign and thanked her and
Oh, you guys did, I
Yeah.
didn't see it on there.
okay,
Scott had emailed it to me.
All right.
Is that something that you guys motioned to advertise in the paper?
that last lot put out again.
don't we advertise already for board members, or are you more specific?
Oh, wait, when
This is
you
in the
motion.
School one, wasn't this a gal in the school?
Blaine was gonna get a hold of the schools on this one. He mentioned last week.
And then. The next one is from Gail Leeper on a joint session. We have a conflict with our joint session meeting. There's an LAPC meeting the same night. She's telling us, I believe we should reschedule. If you could let the commissioners know, I'd appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, well, we'll look into that rescheduling. There's some other stuff coming up that we need to. You know, we're gonna make sure we have a green night for everybody with sports and everything coming up.
Well, like you said, the LEPC is it Thursday where our joint session is already? Gosh, that came up fast.
So I guess, you know, let's just table that joint session until we figure out what's all going on.
So, who makes the time scheduled.
We do,
We do it. Yeah,
so let's wait a little bit and figure out what's going on, cause there's a pile of sports coming up and.
We can't do it Thursday anyway. I don't think we didn't advertise it or didn't notice it.
We would have had to post it yesterday.
okay.
We'll just look into it and see what we can do and maybe, down the line, I know there's a bunch of stuff and. But that's all I have on the correspondence here. You guys have anything?
Not this week.
No. All righty, well, it's. We're 1 minute early, but we're going to the public comment on matters. Is there any public comment?
This thing is for, is for solar panels.
Yeah, that array, something to do with they want to put it on that one lift up above there, or something, I kind of read it, but. If they get the permits, now it's up to them, it's kind of their deal. Yes, just kind of waiting on public comment. That lady, that family I stay with, Gnarly, she just texted me, said it's just pouring rain in our city.
That's good, isn't
Really?
Yeah, she just texted, said it's been pouring in there. Didn't know it was cloudy.
Yeah, it said it might rain real heavy certain places. Tomorrow and Thursday.
And, Ernie said, chairman for the airport, the wind blew over the light thing out there, and so he's trying to find another. I don't know if that's probably coming or not. He did think he could make it in, so I told him I pass it.
So now say that again.
Ernie's the chairman for the airport, wind blew over the light thing out there,
Oh, okay.
so he's trying to get one that looks like the original one that's out there, so he's on top of it. He just wanted to pass it on, but he was gonna be busy today, and I said, that's fine. Pass it on. It's not an agenda item, they can take, it's just maintenance of the field.
Is that something maintenance in progress by the airport board, and there would be no reason for them to have to get in touch with the commissioners? So it's just maintenance in
Yeah, he
progress.
just wanted to let us know that he was
Right.
on it.
Gotcha.
And the helicopters aren't using the field down there anymore. Oh, on the road and bridge. Any public comment?
Morning.
Hello.
Nothing?
How's it going today?
Real good till you walked in.
What you said about me, I asked him if it was me.
I believe.
Yeah, I asked him, did you make me? No. Lance said, yes. We're in public comment. None yet.
Well, 2 weeks ago, somebody called me from Hilltop, Maine. I think it's Hilltop, Maine, with Georgetown. I mentioned it last week, but. And they wanted us to maintain that road. I said, well, the lane is obviously private. And kept arguing with me for a while.
It's in subdivision.
And what did you say?
No.
No,
I said, no, I said, you can come in and talk to all of us if you want.
Oh,
Yellow. Yeah.
really. Nothing, Billy.
Normal people aren't on the,
so we're in public comments still, right?
Yeah.
So I see Gail is on and I don't think she was on when we decided that we can't make the meeting for the 15th for the joint session, so we're gonna table it and figure a date. Just public comment.
Oh, she has her hand up. No.
Who?
Gail.
Gail.
Mhm.
Go ahead, Gail.
Good morning. Yes, I was on when you guys talked about it, just to let you know, we can try to reschedule. I think it's important to have those joint session meetings. It was just the LEPC meeting will be gone, so we'll be at that, so. Thank you.
Thank you.
easy, you really didn't have to leave. Oh, there you
What?
go. We were talking.
I figured you were. 11 o'clock.
Thanks, man.
Oh.
If you show up here more often, you know where it was.
Okay, fireman. Once a month is not gonna be.
That's good.
Huh, you wanna go have breakfast, Blaine?
Are
It's
you
gonna
fine?
be a rough crowd.
What's new? Nothing?
A lot of people say.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's just going around, isn't it?
some pretty bad.
Some people are getting better. Yeah.
Thanks, Billy.
County did order a new thing in the office. A bubble. Then we can kick her down.
I don't know, that wouldn't be too fun, I don't know, I think living in a bubble.
I do it for you.
Alrighty, we're gonna go into road and bridge weekly report. Go ahead, Paul, all here. Attorney Blaine here.
Well, we're just mixing salt sand right now and hauling our sand. And, originally, we were gonna get, sand from Rock Creek and from Tommy,
Yeah,
but he's gonna have enough sand that we can haul it from here to haul to. So that's what I want to do, just haul it all from Mazza. It'll save us $3,000-4,000 just freight.
Hmm.
Oh, no, you know,
well, then we're doing the local things.
then, yeah,
Can we do that? Or we said
We can, where we said we was gonna buy that other 1,200 yards or whatever, we can just. We didn't sign a contract with them.
yeah, just, he wasn't gonna have it. But he's gonna
I
have it
think it
now,
was 1,200 yards.
so
I think it was 1,200, I'm not sure. I mean,
1,200 yards, so it'll be 1,400 ton. Per place,
That you were gonna get from Tommy anyway, or what?
we was getting half from Tommy and half from Rock Creek, but if he's got it, we might as well buy local and then it's gonna save us because he's cheaper. So we just, I'd make them.
So who's the contractor?
we don't have a contract,
We don't have a contract.
Yeah.
no,
That's what I said, we don't have a contract, so we're not. You know, we don't have to buy it, from them. If you buy it from Tommy, it'd be better.
No, if we're getting it cheaper, we're saving the county some money, so yeah.
so I'll make a
Thank you,
motion to buy all the sand from Tommy.
I'll second it.
Any public comment? All in favor?
No.
Aye, motion carried back, go ahead. And they,
so, then we got most of the stuff out of Ross's work done. We got all the heavier part done, now we gotta cap it. We'll haul gravel out there and cap it, and we're hoping to get that done, but our salt started coming in, so that kind of kicked it back a little bit, but if we don't get it finished this week, we'll
What started coming in?
salt.
Oh, okay.
we're mixing it.
So you've been working on that, what, for a week, Ross?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we worked on it all last week.
You still got half a crew.
Yeah, we're just one guy down. So. But yeah, a couple of days we'll finish it out there. But. Then that'll be done at least, and we gotta get some steel and put another plate on that. Metal fork bridge to cover that gap up. You know, that's gonna have to get fixed at some point, but
We do that ourselves, right?
we'll do that ourselves, yeah. Just get a piece of steel and weld it in.
The other note is. Can you look at that cattle guard going in the drone airport? We talked about moving it, and tearing it out, there's a new one in there, now it's kind of caved in on this end of it. And, Grant's brought it to my attention, he was wondering if the guy's gonna put it back in, if we can turn it a little bit, so when they come out, they're hauling hay, and they got that bigger swath in it, they can kind of come, you know. But if he had talked to him, look at it, and somebody put a steel post in the middle where it's gated. He said, bring it there, just get a hold of me, we'll look at it.
Yeah, I'll get a hold of it and go look at it. I mean, we can easily change it as long as the ranchers are gonna do the fence work. I mean, I don't care how well we put it in. We can do that.
So we'll leave it in.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's just more, it's just needs, we were gonna fix it a year ago and a year before, and it just never, we keep waiting. And I think it needs to get done now, because when they were hauling fuel and stuff in there with for the helicopters and that, it's kind of now. It's showing, could be it'll just turn to easier.
we have to put a new one
You might keep Ernie, you know, him,
Yeah.
keep him in line with this, he's a chairman.
in. Yeah, he called on us to put a telephone pole in for the beacon light. No, we're not in the beacon light business.
Well, it's
He was,
county
yes.
entity. Why
What's that?
wouldn't you? He's a county entity, why wouldn't you help if you can?
Well, I guess we wanna go rent equipment to
We don't have an auger.
augers and stuff. You know, but I mean, we're awful busy with trying to do what we're trying to do. And we just don't have the manpower to go do everything. You gotta put the brakes on something, if you're gonna go do all this extra work.
Well, I
Well, it's
think-
probably just as cheap to hire somebody.
Well, no, it turns out he has an auger himself, so he's gonna do it.
Then why do you ask you?
I don't know.
Right, if they didn't wanna bring his in and do it, if the county has one, you probably don't know. County has one, would probably help out. We don't, we're not gonna go in and do one.
I suppose you heard, and you're probably not real excited about it, that we extended the Black Pine for another month and a half.
It's actually 2.2 miles,
Bummer,
huh?
bummer. Got 2.2 miles.
Well, it's 4.5 miles. And then we're gonna have to get with Cameron, because we're gonna turn on Forest Service ground if he doesn't want plowed. And I don't know, anybody thought about the extra man hours, and a lot of times that's gonna be 2 times a day. And then not to mention all the extra salt sand,
Well,
I'm just saying,
So
There's gonna be a lot of-
delegation
but it- but it's
of
still a
manpower
school-
helps
there's
too.
still a school bus route.
Yeah,
And there, I don't see how we can treat him any different than anybody else.
what are we gonna do with all the other people when they come in?
you plow it
That's a
anyway.
maintained road, that's not, I can see what your point on the non-maintained road, we can't plow it, because it'll rip up our equipment. But on that road, I mean, there's absolutely no reason, in my opinion,
Yeah,
why
I
we
agree
can't,
with you.
we can't run up there and plow it.
You're just gonna have to go a little extra
It's just-
miles.
It's a sign of the times.
I'm just saying
Right,
that budget's the budget, and that man hour to man hour, when overtime
Man-hours,
comes in.
man-hour, delegation of man hours works really well too. So,
We do that every day.
yeah,
It doesn't matter to me what we do, it's up to you guys,
right.
so. I just think there's gonna be a lot more people coming in. And I don't know how you're gonna tell them no, when you tell this guy yes.
This
Well,
is a
so-
road that's already plowed.
No, no,
Yeah, you plow snow in it in the winter time and you're gonna go an extra wet. We thought 1.5 miles and you're saying 2 miles.
yeah,
So it already is plowed, so it's not setting a precedence.
oh, but it is, because we plowed a hall too. And the people at Burt Weaver Road, they're gonna be in here, we plow right to there and then we turn around. It's the same thing, why can't we go an extra 3 miles into them?
is it a maintained county road?
It's a non-maintained, but this is non-maintained too.
No,
Who-
Black Pine?
Yeah,
You're saying
We
that
bladed
first step.
we bladed that road one time at Forest Service Health. This year is the first time in 5 years since I've been here that we bladed. I call that non-maintained,
Well, no, I wouldn't.
but
Because, because it might not have needed maintaining in those other years, because it's a pretty good road. I mean, there's been a lot of traffic on that road, just, all the mine activity and all the logging we used to do up there and. Yeah, to me, that's a good road,
I don't think you're setting precedence either, because you already plow it.
Like I say, I'm totally on your side on not maintaining it. We can't plow.
whatever.
So, then I think we ought to bring it up, the SRS stuff, while you're here,
Why?
later on the agenda.
He still have nothing to do with it. He doesn't know
Well, yeah, it is, it is,
how.
because it's putting servicing on roads, I mean,
So what the SRS is, all it is what we didn't do. Is that we didn't research it and see just what the percentage was for the road and the schools and what goes to Forest Service. So all we're doing now is keeping it.
I thought we had to tell them what we're gonna use it for.
We do, no, we have to tell them what percentage is going where. And we want to keep it the way it was last year.
No, don't we have to tell them what we're gonna use it for a
No,
project?
no,
No, that's Barca.
Yeah, that's Barca.
That's Barca, Chuck, that Barca, and that, I was talking to her this morning about that, I was gonna bring it up, as long as we're on this, that. I think I need to leave that Barca in its own separate line, so we know when we're taking money out of it, that we know exactly what we have left, what we're spending, because they will come back and say, where'd you use this 10,000? And say sand, or, or gravel, so That's my opinion then on your.
She wins.
And one other thing, there.
No, sorry, this is just the completely. Completely different than what you were thinking. It's what we were doing before and we were almost ready, which we'll discuss to make a big mistake. It's what we're almost ready to do. Just on, because we didn't pay attention, and I'm including all three of us.
The warranties expired on the new mower. Next, 10 days or so from now. And if we want to extend it for 60 months, it'll cost $6,353.
That's a gamble on that stuff. I've
Yeah,
gone
yes.
against it before on my own personal stuff and it comes back and bit me. So I guess this is something that we really need to. Have we had problems with it? Then we'll say no, but then all of a sudden turn around and then the pump.
Well, for 5 years, I'm almost saying do it.
Yes, it'll expire September of 2027 with a $250 deductible comprehensive warranty, and it'll be $6,300, $6,353. And but that's just the tractor, that's not the mower part of it. But I mean, the mower's kind of a different deal, you know.
Is it all lump sum payment?
I'm sure it is. He just texted me this.
How many hours do you have on now?
About 500.
You have 500 hours on it?
Yeah.
And you plan on doing what, 500 hours a season or what?
About 250 to 300 a season. We got 500 on an hour halfway down, so we'll have easy 600 or better by the time we're done. And this would be on 2,500 more hours, you know, for 5 years. So it's up to you guys.
Just the tracks.
But that's what has all the computers and the problems. You know,
It's new enough. It has to be code red and that. It's new enough truck. It has to be code red. You know, you have to have the computers read if something goes wrong in it. I think a guy should keep the warranty on it. That's just my opinion.
I think so too. Actually.
We don't have nobody capable to work on it. I mean, we always, have to haul that crap in. It's no different than new trucks and that death crap they put on there. Can't work on nothing yourselves anymore unless it's up to you guys, will.
it's simple. If you put it on there, we probably won't have any trouble. If we don't put it on there, we'll have trouble.
That's the way it works.
That's how it works for me.
So I'd entertain a
Keith Law.
motion.
I'll make the motion.
Do the, okay, I'll second it.
Any public comment on this? Being none, all in favor? Aye, we can carry it past to get a hold of one.
I'll call them when I go home.
Hey, anything on the solid waste besides that?
No, everything's going good, just gonna get our signs put together.
Did they get the backhoe fixed in Drummond?
We got it half fixed, we got parts coming. We talked about that before, that might get another season out of that, but it's getting pretty rough shape. We ordered that.
No, got it just so they can use it to get.
Well, we can't get any parts.
Oh, I see.
Yes, I got it.
Yeah.
Got it rigged. I'll say
There's
it,
other words for that.
I'll say it proper. We got it rigged. to get by.
The part with the main part that we need 60 days out. But
Okay.
So sooner or later down the line, we might have to look into something like that too. I'm just throwing this out. We might have to look into it. Because they pound, you're not pound, but they push, they gotta get, so we get our weight, otherwise we're killing the weight, so. Come down the line, we've had trouble with that for years, and them pins are just
Look into something.
Yeah.
Look into what?
like a different one. Just give me a heads up.
The the issue a couple weeks ago with the human waste, is that resolved or need? Or is
Yes.
something need done still?
That's what we're talking about putting signs up.
Okay,
Has,
all right,
has any more come in?
No.
I think when it does, it needs to be pictured and the sheriff needs to be called and took care of right
Yeah.
there. That's not right.
I agree.
That's my opinion.
You just need to figure out what, on the sign needs to say, you'll be fined. How much money do you want the sign to say? How much do you want to fine?
He'd
Public
have-
nuisance can be up to $500, that's it, up to $500 per time,
So we'll put that right on the sign.
yeah.
I mean, if you have to, you can try to get the code from Blaine and then that can be on the sign, because then they can say, well,
It does have to be on, the amount does have to be on. the
No,
sign.
I think you're saying it's kind of a, yeah,
Just to
like
be sure.
shoplifting signs in the store to deter it, but.
I think it's a good way to put it.
Negligent endangerment's $1,000, up to $1,000 fine, which it potentially could be that as well, I mean.
Just figure to put on there, no bio waste, needles. Human waste, etc.
Maybe we sit down with Blaine and get it, go on, then he can put the code on and get everything correct, so somebody don't say, well, that's not saying that. And we have to be covered,
Yeah,
okay?
I'll send you.
Any comments on that? Okay, we kind of went over, so, did you have anything else, Paul?
No.
Okay, well, we'll move on to Brandon Parrott Dam Tenders Report. It's 6428. I think you need to stay for the granite one,
For what?
the granite one. Granite Road edition. of
Oh,
proposal.
I didn't know that even out there.
Yeah, need to stay for that.
Be nice to put all
Anyway,
that
so
stuff
we're
together.
on a roll.
Talking Billy.
No, I'm trying to. It's 6428.04. It's 17.52 inches below. Comment on this.
17.52.
Yeah, we took a little dip there.
Did you see Todd Blyce? You did a.
I
report,
put it-
okay, all
I
right.
stamped it and put it in there too. We're in better shape here than 90% of the other people.
Yeah, and his model looked all right to me, didn't, I mean, wasn't gonna drop below 2 foot, then I said.
Okay, well, I'll make a motion to drop the CF as to 20 for 2 weeks.
Why wouldn't we do that?
Hmm.
On the 15th or
No, today. We
today?
have to do it before the 15th.
That's what it said on the minutes too, is that we're gonna do it today. but there's-
Okay, yeah, we aren't gonna do the 15, we're gonna do the 20. Because we didn't give them the extra 5.
Yeah, then according to that printout we got or something, we average around 19,
19.7.
19.7, so 20.
Okay,
So
okay,
I don't think we should go down
no,
50.
No. You'll need to keep it wet. So your motion will turn it back to 20.
Turn it back to 20 for 2 weeks.
I'll second that motion.
Any public comment on that? Nothing from Fish and Game?
No, they're not on.
Okay, motion carrying pass.
We better call.
All,
Paul.
I'm calling right now.
Need his number?
So is it Paul's responsibility to do that, or is he doing it as Chris?
It's his response because they do it in the dam inside the powerhouse.
So there was a comment made that it would be up to the dam tender. Is that not so?
No, because they goes in the powerhouse and it's going through there. We don't want the dam to
Okay,
in there.
just ask.
No, I'm just telling. I
Yeah.
just explained what-
The gate, with the gate valves, Brandon came and
Brandon
helped,
will do that.
did that,
Yeah. He's not trained on that other stuff.
yeah. What his number? 491-0604.
Colin?
Sure. You wanna call him?
And he knows as well, yeah, he's been in on all those emails.
He's the one that called.
I think Brandon was just. Hey, all this Scott, say, can we turn it back to 20? Alrighty. Thank you. Maybe I don't know. I think he was kind of wondering too, you know, Brandon, wonder what his is to do with that. Alrighty. Go ahead with the Granite Road conditions, the proposal request to the county of Granite, discussion will be decision. State your name and
James Prusa, I'm a resident up off of South Granite Road, south of the bimetallic mine yard. And we submitted a letter making some recommendations on the road conditions a couple of months ago, back in May. I provided the letter to Mr. Adler and to Paul. And it's not a demanding letter. We're just stating the realities of what we're faced with. I hope everyone has received a copy of the letter. Okay. I would like to preempt things with the fact that I did look into the county website and perused around some of the budgets. And frankly, I was almost in shock when I saw the budget for roads and bridges. It's appallingly low. I'm sure you all know that. As a comparison, I managed 145 golf courses in Asia, Japan, South Korea, and consulted all over. And this was similar types of work. And I think an absolute minimum just for maintenance on one single golf course is $1 million a year. Now around here, it may be a little less, but it's not unusual for just a simple 18-hole golf course to have budgets of $2 and $3 million. And the county here is trying to take on a Herculean task of the roads and bridges. It's tough, and I have a lot of empathy for Paul, and I don't want to burden him or the department or the county anymore. But the realities are, the county certainly has interests up there, as do the residents. And I think if you've had a chance to read through the letter we put together, we tried to point out most of those. One of the other concerns that has come up this summer due to the town's water line up there. You may not be familiar with the fact that the water line is an old line and it's a fiberglass line. It will bloody well melt on fire. And that road going up to the granite mine yard area is the only access to that area to get fire equipment up. And boy, if a fire starts up there, that water line is going to be toast. So that's another thing I'd throw into the pot here. We're not asking for a road improvement. Most of the residents do not want to see the road improved. We don't want gravel or anything that would actually encourage more people to come up than already do. But we would like to see the road once a year with some minimal preventative maintenance, a simple grading, and clearing out the uphill water trench lines. That's water control is the key on these roads. I mean, I've had one golf course in Japan that an engineer wouldn't listen to me, and we wound up losing 4 holes on a mountainside because it just starts and it goes once it's saturated. And so there's some concerns about the protection of the road, and the tourism traffic that goes up there is getting more and more every season. I think this last weekend in Labor Day weekend, it was stunning the amount of traffic that came up to see the ghost town. So I'll leave it here, and put it in your capable hands. We would like to see some grading done once a year and the water line uphill trenches cleared, so we're not having water running over the surface, which starts the erosion on the road. We're also willing to help out the county. A lot of us have equipment up there. And we're capable. We'd be more than pleased to work with Paul to assist in that. I don't know what the parameters would be legally.
So the only, I'm just to start off making one comment where you say the budget's appallingly low.
Yes,
Well, appallingly low is because that's what the levy is worth. And that is all we have to work with.
I understand that.
And there, right now, we still have to pull monies in from Pilt
I understand that.
and anticipated, so there isn't anything we can do about the appallingly low budget. I mean, we're not about. So,
I understand.
okay, I mean,
But-
that's just something that you're saying that we need to throw more money in. Well, we can't. That's the thing. is-
I think that's a whole other discussion. I'm just pointing out from my experience, you already know your budget is really scraping the bottom of the barrel. I don't know how he does it with that amount of money. I mean, you heard the warranty, $6,300. Of course, I assume, well, that would probably be capital equipment. I don't know if the $1 million I looked at was just operating funds or capital included. But it shocked me, and it's not going to get any easier. Perhaps some kind of a long range strategy. And I've done those too, to try to find more revenues.
I agree. I actually think we should do some limited maintenance up there. I've been thinking that for a long time. I mean, with all the tourists going up there. And, you know, as far as that sign goes, you know more about that than I do, but. I
Is
think-
that, this thing, you mean?
Yeah, I mean, somebody could drive by that and say they
Yeah.
never saw it. and
Usually the signs are getting taken down as soon as they get put up, so I think that's a good thing it stayed up, but. Back to the idea of them helping out, the county has a model contract, so it's yeah, that has people do some snow plowing and have a contract with them, so. There is some options that I would be a commission to sit on that.
Well, perhaps some of us would be willing to go on Paul's budget or go on Paul's payroll at minimum wage. So we're legally covered and operate equipment to help out. And then I'm willing to donate it all back.
I think the county just required insurance if you have insurance, but that's, I guess.
But he's not running our equipment.
Yeah, correct, yeah. Oh, yeah, I wasn't meaning that, I mean, like, insurance on your own.
That's just an additional insured, doesn't really cost anything.
I know what you're saying, but yeah, we can't.
I think
where you're talking, there you go.
Yeah, it doesn't work that way where you can go on for minimum wage because the road crew are union members and so you didn't thought that you were gonna go in there and help out. That would.
Well, we'd want to do it ourselves too.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
the crew knows what they're
No.
doing, but
Comment on it.
Yeah, when we do make it up there, and I mean, obviously, we're gonna have to get there one of these days. We'll do it with our own crew. And do what we can do. I mean, I get, you gotta do a little bit on a lot of these, you know, we've had this discussion before. A little bit each year and pretty quick there,
Right.
do it, but you just have to do it with our own equipment, our own man. And it always, you know, they say they don't want any gravel hauled up there, but every time you start doing these projects, you're bringing gravel up because there's no material on that road. It's all rock. And so you're changing the pipe or something, you're bringing material up there, not, you know, that's just the way it is, but.
And that water pipe, we don't want to the front of the house, that's all there, the cities,
I understand that.
yeah, I just don't want.
Well, your water service there in this building in the cities, and if that water line goes out in a fire. Perhaps because of delayed reaction time by firefighters. You know, it's not gonna be a few days to replace it. Yep, if you've never been up there, you're welcome to come up, I'll give you a tour around.
I've been up there.
oh, we've
Don't
been,
say that, I've been up there.
we've all been up there.
I think the plan is to replace that, isn't that part of their getting the grants for, or is that?
Yeah.
but
I think
yeah, it's not gonna be tomorrow, but
Yeah, that's down the line. a little
Yeah.
ways, and they're trying to get more money. And
it's a, yeah.
Yeah, it's. If we can do what we can to help try to, get that, if we've got time, we can do
You have a day or two this fall, do you think?
it.
Well, that's, we're shooting for later in the fall. But When we get our stuff done, we gotta get done.
The ideal time of year, and Paul certainly knows this, is after the, the snow melt and the rains in the spring. If you go in there and treat that road and try to renew the surface on it, it'll last all summer and into the fall. This time of year, we don't see a lot of erosion up there. And frankly, a lot of the residents up there have been patching the trenches and on their own anyhow, because you can't get through. So
Well, you wanna get the drainage running for breakup,
that's the key. That's the key.
You do that in the fall
No,
or the spring?
Yeah, it might be a good plan is to clear the trenches in the fall and perhaps, there are a number of culverts up there. Most of them are plugged. And that's the issue, because then once the culvert's plugged, the water starts building up and it starts running down the surface of the road and it takes out all of the finer materials and just leaves these.
how big are the culverts?
I would say there's probably 5 or 6 culverts that I'm aware of. Now, if you like,
What's the diameter?
oh, they're 12 inch. What, 200 millimeter. They are, I'd be happy to go through there and identify all the culverts and flag them, because you gotta know where they are. They're buried.
Question, is this a culvert situation where if we made it a little bigger, we could use?
We could use that money, yeah.
Hmm?
We could use that money.
Yeah.
That we were talking about
Yeah.
before. So if we put 18-inch culverts in there, they wouldn't plug up. If they're only 12 is not very big. Gets plugged up pretty
There's
good.
probably variance in size because, how long ago was that road built? 100 years ago.
Well, I'm in much better shape when we all logged out of
Exactly.
there. And lots of them.
I mean, you've got another full-time resident. I mean, Granite is now occupied in it. There's a guy who built a cabin up there and there's 2 more coming in. It's just amazing what's going on up there.
and they'll be in on the roads up to date, and everybody be pissing them on that everybody's going too fast.
Well,
And there'll be more law enforcement up there and everything else.
actually, that is a concern.
It's-
Because you got a lot of, I call them flatlanders going up there, and they don't even know that uphill traffic's got the right of way. They come flying down and side-bys and 4-wheelers and everything else. I think we suggested some simple signage. And I know Paul gets signs from the prison, because my son runs the shop there. He's not in prison, but
Manager.
he's the manager up there. But some simple signage like at the bottom of the road, uphill traffic has a right of way, and coming down especially a couple signs.
How long do you figure that sign will last before it's shot full of holes?
I
Or
think
somebody takes it?
that these days, you're not gonna have a problem. The signs are,
Must be different there, because every time we put up one, I mean, it's not even a week. That Rumsey, they're taking the stop sign the next day.
in Rumsey.
Yeah.
Well, I haven't
Up the
seen,
lake too, they're taking stop signs.
They down, they put up, somebody moved the speed trap thing.
I don't know.
I mean, I'm not
That's
arguing,
that's
I
a
just-
possibility. But
They just,
there is a private effort to renew the signage for the tourist attraction, the ghost town. People probably don't understand this, but the state park is very small. It's only the property that's underneath the miners union hall and the old superintendent's house. But it's dilapidated. I don't know, I haven't approached the state or the Fed about what options might be available for some revenues, grants or whatever, but I'm gonna dig into it.
see, this is the whole thing, we started out doing homemade, now we're gonna go into signs, culverts and everything, you see, we just keep adding on.
Well, that was all in the letter of
I know,
recommendations.
I'm just saying, though, just seems like we started one little thing and now we're starting to jump bigger and bigger and bigger.
Well, you've got taxpayers up there.
Just saying.
And that's increasing. And as they build, the tax base is going to increase. I know my taxes are gonna go up when my house is finished. And I mean, if you look down the road 10 years, I mean, you gotta look 5 to 10 years down the road at increasing tax base, increasing full-time residents, increasing voters. And I think the road, again, we're not asking for improvements. We just want it so it doesn't further degrade.
No, I wasn't saying.
Fill the
I'm just
ruts in.
saying, no, just though this is what happens. We just start one more thing.
But like Paul says, then there will be improvements, because you can't, with all them boulders and everything, you gotta do something with them, you gotta cover them up or.
Right.
That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying it don't need to be improved, but it's just that once you start in there and you break the ground, there's gonna be more and more.
Well, I think maybe if we get
That's what-
this fall.
That's what happens with improvement, with advancements in the county.
Try to get some drainage in and maybe open the culverts up to.
Yeah, we'll do a little bit. Soon as we get some weather. That's a big kindling match up there.
Yeah,
With the blade right now, but maybe water truck it anyway. But when we get time, we'll look at it, we'll do something.
that's why I think the spring is probably the better time. After the rains and after the melt. The fire threat is not as great. So. Yeah, we'd like to just, see some minimal effort up there.
No nature.
Also, there, Granite Resources, the Granite Company, Bill Antonelli is aware that there's some, what they call dumps, not tailings, but dumps up there in the yard. There's a lot of screen material up there. And perhaps he could be persuaded to get his family to allow us to utilize some of that material.
Just depends on the whole thing, there was a lot of more dumps, all they are is just rock. It's already been sifted through and they took the gold and everything else, they're just. How long will, I mean, you're gonna have to really look and see if it's good to use. We've had good luck with Bill before, but that's a whole different thing.
At a minimum, I think a grader trying to dress the road off and fill in the ruts at a minimum. To protect that effort, though, you need to deal with the water control.
So the one little comment that I'd like to make on this, you were kind of mentioned that. You want to demote tourism a little bit, but tourism is what's gonna get that road probably fixed, because. We might have to look into thinking of an excise tax, which is for infrastructure.
Mhm.
And Granite County is a tourism county and we can't avoid it. And looking at roads that are used just to go up to the ghost town, which like I said, isn't there, it's, I don't know why they call it ghost town, but we're gonna have to do that. I mean, that's just something we have to look at in the future. And funds coming in, the only way that funds are gonna come in is if there is some way that there's an excise tax and we can use for infrastructure. That's just something that's in the future too.
A resort tax.
Well, yeah, you can't, we're not a resort, but we're definitely tourism.
Well, I think you can probably get a resort tax.
Yeah, that's,
Very close.
Is there BLM ground there too?
Is what?
BLM ground there, or is it most mainly?
It's national forest, but yeah, there's a few parcels that remain owned by BLM.
Okay, I'll talk to Maria and Missoula too, because they were gonna do some other stuff and looking to do things, so maybe I'll check in on that with Maria.
Okay. The other thing that occurs to me is that most of the properties up there are in fact patented mining claims. There is federal statute regarding access to federal mining claims. We might chat about that.
I'll ask her, though, I'll call her, because they were talking about doing some stuff up at Garnet. So,
we tried to point out that tourism, which was my business for most of my career. The economic impact on tourism is substantial. It's bigger than most industries. You know, that dollar bounces around several times when it comes into the local economy. So you're right, I agree with you. It's a bit of a dichotomy that we don't want to see a lot of traffic, but we realize that it's the tourism that's gonna generate the maintenance of the road. Most of us live south of that area, so we only have to deal with the tourists going up to the mine yard where they turn off to the ghost town.
Sounds good. I guess we'll try to figure out when we get up there and, you know, at least try to get some.
Yeah.
That water thing, so when it does start, we can get up there and just have to see, I get this other done first. Yeah. Got some started. We need
Later
to
in fall.
finish up.
So you need to get to some moisture before you can really do anything.
Well, you just want to have some, you know.
You don't wanna be up there.
It's coming, forecast.
You don't want to, it can get pretty dry up there. We're very careful. So again, I'll thank you all for your consideration, and there's a lot of people up there, either full-time or part-time residents that would appreciate some assistance.
Thanks for coming in.
You betcha.
Thanks.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
And my empathy for Paul, sorry. I'll buy you beer.
I know you will. All right, I'll see you guys.
And we got 15 minutes.
Have a good day.
See, playing in there. I'll go down. We go on. Okay, we still have 6 minutes before lunch. We help you?
Is it the public meeting?
Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just thought, I've always wanted to come.
Sounds good.
What's your name?
I'm Lorraine, isn't it?
Yeah, the only reason I ask you that is
Got
state their name so they know.
Lorraine Delfish.
Ernie Folk said he's not gonna be able to make it. Okay, yeah.
He told me that and then I passed it on. And
I've
I'll
been-
comment maybe. I should.
I've been keeping him in the loop. I think he was just gonna be up to, yeah.
He was talking about that pole and stuff. And he was good with it. Held up. He's a good guy.
You want to mention the problem with that. Their house is about to burn down, that'd be what people tell them.
Well, and the thing, calm down on. He was talking.
That's all right. Emergency.
You explained that, so it's in the minutes, you explained.
There you are.
I went around. It's just always that negativity, and then go after the, he's just long, there's again, somebody volunteer to do stuff.
Ernie's doing a good job.
Yeah. What do you know?
What do I know? I know anything you want to know. I've got an answer for everything. Everybody's entitled to my opinion.
I like that. With confidence. Yeah.
We're doing claims, right? I'm getting ready to do claims, monthly claims. Go through each one.
I've been attending town hall meetings for off and on for, a year or so. And I just want to learn, how what's going on in our community. So in the future, when I know enough to help, I'll be a little bit more involved.
You know, the other commissioner.
I would like to meet actually, or sometimes somebody said that she would be a good mentor for me as I continue to grow. And I know Chuck.
She just wants to meet you, yeah.
Oh. Hi. Hi.
It's a lot, it's making it work. Commissioner Bean.
Yeah. And I'm sorry, what was your name?
Blake Branch, county attorney.
I know you, I know you because we work together. but
Oh, yeah.
That's okay.
This is Billy.
I'm feeling,
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. I know you. We've been working.
Yes, how have you been?
you know. I really admire the fact you guys got the organization together so that we can get our tests together.
Yeah.
in the Community. Women are amazing.
I got. That's the word. Definitely. Yeah, it's, yeah. And then, all you need is a phone. Yeah.
He comes out and gives you information for Officer Schatz and your team. Or they have.
Okay, when do we?
Lily, would you mind if I help myself to the?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. You need a notebook or anything? I have extras.
No, I got you.
Okay.
that 360 office out of the branch.
Where's it out of? Butte?
Used to be called, used to be Empire, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. that was- They do a good job. There's,
And before that, what was it? That's part of
like an office.
yeah, office.
Office.
And then Chris bought it and went into Empire and then 360 bought it.
Empire. Yeah. He does a good job, yeah, you're off and, packing no paper, and it's good service.
And it's a Big Sky passenger rail, so this is just our yearly.
That's the 1,400 that
You voted for.
we said we'd give them. Just
Just quick.
quick.
You're up on top. Well, I thought I just started a little more. Are you happy? Hey, you happy?
I'm happy. I couldn't be happier.
Hey, granddaughter's playing well there,
Yeah, she's not too
Yeah.
bad.
yeah, she did,
She's messing up her ankle.
oh, yeah. They had drumming on the ropes there down to
Oh,
that,
did.
and, yeah, a lot of,
So they can only get better, right?
I think both teams will get better, so they play up here.
It's good.
Sorry,
We're talking.
No, I was listening. I was looking at it playing. Also, I was on like this here where it says Bob Weaver got, 3/4 gravel, 14. Some of this, do we keep tabs on where this goes? That's why I was wondering about that Barca line and that.
So did they take it out of the,
I'm not sure where that SRF, right? And then,
yeah, I think
okay.
that's your Barca.
Okay, so. I was
And
just
then that's 28
curious, like for this 14,000, if we could keep a line item like
This is-
where.
gravel,
crap,
the line item.
But I mean, like where this $14,000 went.
Where did it go?
Yeah, where did it?
Where did it go?
What was that?
That's why,
Oh,
that's why I was asking.
28.
It'd be nice if like even Bob or whoever Paul put something, look at this and say, well, this was
Yeah,
or some, did something so we can actually come back and say,
So where did this go?
I don't know, that's why I was asking.
Oh.
That's why, I know where it
I
comes
thought you
out.
were saying where
No,
did.
I know where it comes out of, but what I was trying to figure out is where did this 1,000 yards go? Is it on what road?
exactly. So it's for Barca.
Yeah,
So we
because they're
keep
gonna
track of
come and say, well, you got $14,000 you're taking off Barca, where did it go?
Let's call them up.
So, and that would be up to your,
Road.
road superintendent.
actually, we need to do a resolution, so if you do like a full list for it. Sarah didn't want it in the budget resolution, but we need to do a separate Barca resolution. So if you can get like a complete list on everything.
Well, I think we have to, because the budget's gonna come after
Yeah.
these years, we're being too lenient on what we use it. We don't have proof where we're going with it, like this here. It's a,
So you actually,
14,000,
you
so-
would have proof, all you have to do is run a report.
But I mean, what if when they come and say, well. Like an audit on you, say, well, you used $14,000, what,
Okay,
this gravel, where did you use?
yeah, so what you're gonna saying is what road did it go on?
Yeah.
So that's for the resolution, that's all they wanna see is that resolution. Yeah,
I was
So
just.
they're-
curious.
But it's still good, though,
Yeah.
you're right.
Yeah,
should
you know,
have
we're
a cap.
spending $14,000 and these guys are saying, well, you're not doing nothing on the road. Well, here went 14,000, at least you could tell and say, well, hell, we
Yeah.
we did this here and this later.
every year they wanna see a resolution on where it's going.
I don't think it's bad. It'd be nice to know
You
what.
mean detail what road it's gonna be
Yeah.
on?
Or it could be gravel for, every, that we're gonna use on every kind of road, but they wanna know what specific.
Could we buy this as a bulk and we're keeping it to use it, or did we use all of it?
On
That's
that one
all.
particular, right,
So I think call to Paul and see where he's gonna use it. Put it in a resolution.
I think.
yeah, no, that's good, that's very good, that needs to be done. And it needs to be be
Does
documented.
that mean I'm up one now today?
Yes.
She's taking notes on you, Scott, so be careful.
Oh,
Good
see?
boy. Good boy.
Hey, Bob, say we're doing claims and on this, Bob Weaver one, 1,000 yards, did we just buy that as bulk or did we put that down somewhere? Cause it come out of it's bulk. Okay, so, cause it come out of that SRS and we're gonna, sooner or later, they're gonna come and then we'll have to kind of know where we're using it. You know, so we know, like, say we put 500 yards on a the dump. Yeah, can you kind of keep tabs on it and then bring it into us and just so, because they're gonna come back on us. Okay. Okay, well, that sounds good and I'll let these guys know, but yeah, if we kind of know where it's going in when they come and after, somebody said, well, hell, we put 500 yards of 3/4 gravel on this road. So then we have an idea. Okay, thanks. All right, thanks, bye. He
So,
bought that, we bought it bulk
okay,
and so he said he will keep tabs on me, so it only takes it out, he'll bring up.
but the line item 430247 is the Barca, right? That must be. So,
430247.
yeah, so they maybe need to get in there and make their their description. And call it that so we can see it. Because then you're gonna get that report when you print it out. All it says right now is gas tax, gravel and oil
Yeah,
is all it says on that line item. And it should say we're using that just for Barca funds.
I just think we better have a paper trail on this. stuff.
Is that
We
right?
take-
Is that,
Yeah,
why are they calling it SRS?
that's what.
Huh?
That's what's there.
I mean, why? Is it Barca?
Well, I thought the gravel come on Barca, that's why I was.
And-
Yeah, I talked to him.
See, if it says Barca's fund 430247, why does it say?
Yeah.
Did they put
Okay.
SRS money?
Gotta
in
talk to
Barca?
your-
SRS. So do I get one?
No, because you were talking about what's on the agenda. And that is completely different, so. Ooh, and it shouldn't be on our own with this.
So you want to talk to Sarah and see where it is.
No, I think I get half, but
Yeah,
I'll give you half.
I don't know how it goes SRS,
I don't.
it's
'cause
ARSA. Maybe that says, maybe
Maybe
that
that's an
says
A.
RSA. Uh-huh, okay.
it just is gas, that's his gas.
Oh,
Gas.
gas,
Yeah.
well, gas is different, gas is.
Would be the.
Gas-
that's just all part of
The
it.
fund is gas
Yeah.
tax, but the
Oh,
line
yeah.
item is Barca. So this is Barca right here, and that's gas tax right here,
Oh,
gas tax.
I'm totally.
No.
sorry, bring all that up.
But once upon a time, you could be descriptive, which really helped. When you went in and looked at your line items and your object numbers, because then, like you look at this one, which one's Barca, you wouldn't know.
You got a dirty clinics under that?
Yeah, it just is his gas.
You didn't really know to throw that over, did you?
I don't know.
No,
Okay,
all right, back being serious.
we are.
I think. Just need to know where stuff goes and that, you know, I gotta get picture of people.
Well, and it's in the right line item, you just didn't know that. We just can't tell, because there's, the description is. global. There.
I'll be back at 11.
Okay.
Is that, DNRC's coming in at,
Mhm.
when it's gonna be down?
At 11.
The DNRC request for use.
Or the,
Floodplain.
Oh, the floodplain presentation, review and discussion.
I'll be down.
We'll go off for a second.
One second.
All back. Wait.
Nazar and Son's home.
Do it.
I talked to them. It's all.
Somebody's cutting in on the business here.
What?
What's he got going down there? He's trying to get points, ain't he?
Oh, you might, he's being witty.
Nazar and Son Tony.
Nice.
You're just.
Why? Oh, I see. Yep. I get it now. This Paris. Difficult.
How come it says, witness file state blank blank, whatever, I'm not bringing the names up, it says mileage 27 miles one way.
What is it?
Paying for both ways for witness. I was just reading what it said, just one way, I was thinking, but yeah, doing here since the game was. You get paid both ways, then, to come up and go back, I guess, because you're actually.
Okay, so they're just saying one way is 27 miles, and so they got 54.
$10.
Yeah. 62.5 cents.
Didn't think of that. I thought 52. That was
Well, that's a
they,
prices are going down. Goodness, a little bit.
they said this morning we jumped back up, the inflation is 8.7.
Wow.
That's what it said on the news this morning.
This
I've been up all day, they're all morning.
Sort of stock market cracking, too.
Giving up on
Ukraine's taking over much more of the ground. Do that,
Oh, yeah.
doesn't go through the man fighting, you get more back.
So y'all agree that Great West expert witness should come out of comp.
We've got to put it on the agenda. About the earthquake thing, because we're not gonna be able to get that done, we gotta get to FERC
Put what on the agenda?
about the earth, you know.
PGA
We're not gonna
analysis.
get that earthquake study done.
Oh.
And we gotta get to FERC to get that taken care of. Before. The end of the year.
Yes.
Do you want me to reach out to Jeremiah this week and see where it's at? I know he had put it out and then he was gonna reach out to HRDA who offered to do it last year to see if he's heard back.
Yeah,
And then if you guys want, I can have it on either next week or the week after to give him time to kind of maybe, I don't know if he has any advice.
Did you try calling me?
Maybe, yeah, that's something that nobody's gonna do.
Oh, okay. I will
Yeah.
give you a number. I don't need
Let's
that.
get it together and out to Kelsey, yeah.
I'll text it.
All right, I'll reach out to him.
Hey, we did about the fever, right? Sorry. I'll be here. Hey, Courtney. Hey, it was there, eh? Hey,
So probably keep this one at the top and then throw in that needs to change.
Blanche. She's calling you.
What?
Uh,
Okay.
Sarah.
Oh, Sarah. Hey, Sarah, why are you wearing a mask?
Because Jackie asked me to, because Becky was sick and Leo is sick. I have been testing myself. I am not symptomatic. I am not, and I have not tested positive at all. And, and she said,
Okay.
well, so wear a mask for 10 days. I said, great. That is why
10
I'm wearing
days?
it. Yeah. And I'll be really annoyed if I can't go to.
And you
Arizona.
understand why we're gonna take that out of
No.
contingencies?
No, that's what I'm asking. So do
Because
we-
we asked for an expert witness and this is concerning possible litigation.
Okay, so that isn't this same thing.
No. Well, she budgeted in there.
I mean, I can move it, but yeah, that's where it was budgeted.
I know, but it should have been,
Oh,
my mistake.
okay.
Yeah.
Uh-oh,
Cause that's what, yeah.
where's that reporter?
Your mistake,
Didn't you?
-1.
We did budget in there for it. We did budget in
You
there.
know, it's 1-1.
But I think as far as a paper trail, it is.
I have a whiteboard, we can put it on the wall and mark
I
it.
mean, I can move it, but that was why I put it. there,
And
because
you
that's
still
how-
have a chance to move it, right? Okay, so move it out of there. Is that okay with you guys?
How long did you take?
That is good.
Yeah,
Okay.
So. And we'll just keep the 20 in there for, that, or do you want me to move the 15, move the total?
So how do we
15?
figure it's gonna cost us 15? There's gonna be more. He said there was gonna be more.
Yeah, and so that was where,
wasn't it up to 15 and then we.
Yeah,
just- just that way we had enough to cover it.
So why did we decide to put it
I don't
in our
know.
budget anyway?
Cause,
Did you decide that?
yes, we did. We heard it. Yes, we did. Don't try to, yeah, there's another gas tax. on it.
Well, I'm thinking that it's not a commissioner thing. It's a contingency against the county. It's not against the commissioners, is what I'm saying.
Okay, so would you like me to take
I
the
would.
15 out of this?
Is
I
that
will,
okay?
so would you like me to put that to 5,000
Yes.
and the 15,000, put that in?
Is that gonna mess you up a bunch?
Nope. Okay, we haven't printed all those things yet, and I can still slide it over if the budget can be slid over
Okay,
again.
so and because it's like a countywide thing, it's bumping on over into comp insurance.
Okay,
We gotta, in contingencies. Maybe we're gonna have to increase it.
so let me go take a look at all this. I don't.
Well, if it's gonna be things we budgeted, I just think that because there's going to be more, it is Granite County, not the commissioners, or is it the commissioners? I guess that's an attorney question.
Yeah, I think that was the thought, that it was the commissioners wanting the experts, and so that's why, so I don't.
And that's why we put it in, we were the ones who wanted the expert. I didn't know what it went under, I think we did.
So then I just put it into professional services for the.
Because I got in South Plain said that one time we could use professional services, and I'm not full, I think, and that's why they did that.
Okay, all right,
So are we gonna
just want to leave it, okay,
leave it?
that's
Okay,
fine.
all right, okay.
Okay, so then now we know that when I go look in there and look. Never mind.
Yeah, okay. Well, we'll leave it the way it is. All right.
We're still,
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
we're still paying this general disturbing for Phillipsburg volunteer ambulance. It's only $58, but still every month we keep doing it, we have no Phillipsburg ambulance. So can you figure out why are we in a contract with them? Because these guys, I personally deal with them.
What do they, what's
It
the,
just says medical 8-80 CUFT and then medical 021 whatever C.
So-
But it's, we're getting charged every.
so they're on an auto supply thing, that needs to be canceled.
Right, well, I don't know quite what we even have there, because then I see that I'm gonna call Paul and him, because he has, the road department's getting charged for CO2 beverage, cup, CF, 7078, but I don't know what this other stuff is.
Is this just filling the first aid kit?
No, this is cylinders. These are like oxygen and acetylene, I go through these guys and I'm like,
So we need to tell them no longer deliver to,
we don't wanna be charged for bills for ambulance, we don't even have it.
are they delivering to them still? What's going
We're
on?
getting
Yeah,
charged $58. I mean,
does the ambulance know they're unfunded? People that,
they should, well, we don't have nobody on it,
Yeah,
they won't even write back letters of reason. or
they've all
whatever.
resigned.
We paid them, so I'll call them right now here.
okay, beans, Beans, you budgeted 15,000 for. Out of.
Yeah.
That's where
Mhm.
I lost that one.
So you're down one,
I'm down with.
so it's 1 and 25.
Like I said, this is Scott Adler, Granite County Commissioners. And we're going over the billing, and we got a bill from you for $58 for Phillipsburg volunteer fire ambulance, and we don't even have the name. It is 54898. Yeah, 54898. I don't know, what's a CUFT?
To be fired, all instead of.
Medical oxygen. Well, we don't, we have no longer a volunteer, but, or volunteer ambulance getting built. I'll have to have the sheriff, or something. I don't know, I'll have to have the sheriff to look and see if the cylinders are still there or whatever. But four of them? Okay, how big are they? Are they just smaller? Okay, well, okay, and that's what. I'll just have him go look, if it's only one ambulance, I'll give go look, or somebody will go look and see if we can get them. Can you take them to Hogan's and give them back to you? Okay, thanks. It's, we're being charged for the use of oxygen bottles, but if they're not using the crap, why don't stop there?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'll get them gathered up and get something signed and get them down and. Okay. Okay, that sounds good. I will get that took care of. Thank you. Bye. It's a rental, and that's what they get charged every month, and we've been, I keep asking them about it, I never called in, but. Now that we're dismissed, and we might as well get rid of that stuff, unless the sheriff needs an option.
No, I just- So, I don't know where that.
Did, Karen Palmerville, hold you?
No.
We're behind on our tri-county fair payment, 5,000. I talked to Sarah about it. She was getting a hold of Karen, so I got her to.
3,000,
Yeah.
3,000.
Three, yeah.
3,000.
Right, that's saying 5,000.
No,
I
it's
thought
three.
we went back. We went to 5.
We,
On that
years
one.
ago.
Yeah, Just for the power and that, and like, okay. They were complaining we haven't paid, but I said, we never got a bill, and they said, the lady said, well, no, we gave a bill to Sarah, I said, no, I didn't. So I, okay.
And
so it
only
is in
3
there.
that were given. That we budgeted. Good call.
Hey, Billy, can I get the name of that guy that's renting from,
Yeah,
Down
thank you
there.
right now.
you gave it to me once. I was just gonna be curious to ask, I was gonna talk to you guys about, need to get some water on there. I mean, it's just burning.
Yeah,
Kind of late now.
Yeah, well, if we could just get a little tighter, it's so bad right now. And because Chuck Johnson lives next door and all theirs are nice and green and when you get ours, it looks like a desert. It might be way too late.
I just sent it to you.
Yeah, 11 minutes.
No, you.
On that, them signs that we're getting from the prison. Paul found somebody at Makers is way cheaper, so we started going through them.
Really?
I didn't know, I just thought in case somebody said, oh, we'll get some, yeah, he found somebody else.
He relative, just kidding.
What'd you say? I broke my hearing aid, so you can say.
Yeah. I'm kidding.
I used to see another towing outfit being used, but then they can't do that kind of thing.
You weren't around anyway, were you?
Yeah. I'm everywhere. I'm teasing. Are you writing down all kinds of good stuff about us or?
Yeah, I'm gonna make national news. It's earth shattering what's going on in here today. But I wanna learn about it slowly. Do you guys still do the women?
I know Jen has been wanting to get something going again. After COVID, she had a hard time getting it to really build any more traction. I know she wants to get something going. Her kids have been keeping her quite busy with all of their extracurriculars lately, but I'll give her a nudge. I'll tell her I saw you today and give her.
And it's a good organization.
It is, it's a cool thing.
Maybe you guys worked out on connections and you don't need them.
I doubt that. There's so many new people coming to town all the time. It's a great way to build those connections, I think.
much concept.
Yeah, it's all Jen. I just do as I'm ordered. But no, I'll let her know. I know she's been wanting to get something together.
That's a pretty good deal, isn't it? Feeding people in the jail, it's about costing us costing them. $8 a meal from senior citizens, we should help them.
When they used to do that, they must have decided to do that again
Yeah, just-
years ago.
We haven't fed him, but he was buying them TV dinners and stuff.
So they get fed on what? Wednesdays and Thursdays?
Say, I just seen them feed them.
Are they open 3 days a week now, the senior citizens?
I thought so, I thought that's what it said in the tape. I'm sure. You know?
I don't, I was just, here's when I remember when COVID hit, the senior center just dropped all the people that were dependent on home deliveries, and TJ and I were appalled, and so we, the fire grill, and we started delivering to those shut-ins. I just couldn't believe the seniors just stopped, because those people were so dependent on them. So kudos to them, to John and Lauren, because they were just,
Barrel of oil, whoops, I'm sorry. A barrel of oil, a 1030 Fleet Supreme oil, this motor oil. Is up to $1,126 a barrel. It used to be $380.
What's that?
1030 weight oil, Fleet Supreme, it's $1,126 a barrel, 55 gallons oil.
Huh.
It used to be $380. That's
It's insane.
what? Go. The minus point. Really.
What'd you say? I wasn't listening to you. I made my comment and then I.
6 minutes. Countdown.
No.
There's a new outfit in down by Missoula that started picking up garbage. And it's not the best. It's what they're charging them to do, the dumping fee, they're getting back what they were charging them to pick it up. Cause they have control, so. That's something I'll have to really look into. If we just spend another $20,000 this month on. Daily, annual maintenance and covering $4,700 to go make sure. Okay, wait, but yet we're not big enough to get money off of like trucks coming through. If we charge them because they're certified, but they're not wide enough to big enough.
Who was that? That one vendor? Who was it?
They want to come certified all the time, and make sure our scales weigh, meet the standard. Rocky Mountain. Has there been any more stuff done downstairs?
I was gonna go look because I got an email yesterday from Kayla Sanders asking when they're doing all of the construction stuff down there for the judges in their swap. Because she said there's lumber and stuff in my old office. And I was like, oh, I don't know. I haven't been down there. I will poke around and see what I can find out. So I'm gonna poke around after the meeting today and maybe I'll call Kessler and
But you. I have a motion on
No, I'll move to accept the plan.
I'll second.
any public comment on it. All in favor? Good night. Return pass. All right, Michael, come on up. It's 11 o'clock. We're doing a DNRC flood plain. That's all, folks. Take your name and that and let's.
Nadine Walker, and I'm with the DNRC floodplain mapping program. And I do have a presentation if we wanted to, but I thought maybe if we didn't want that by PowerPoint this morning, maybe this would be a little bit easier.
thank you.
Thank you. We do have it electronically if we wanted to, but this would be a little bit better.
Can you need to speak up a little bit?
Yeah, I was Army, so I try not to be too loud.
Oh, you can be loud.
Okay, good.
That's fine. Right?
Yeah. louder is better.
See? We're all deaf. I told her to speak up for hands. I didn't tell.
So, 4 years or so ago, the floodplain, the FEMA came in and said they had gotten money. They were gonna update our floodplain maps for our portion of the park port from Drummond to the Missoula border. And then they were gonna update the floodplain maps for Rock Creek. So, they've finally gotten them all mapped out. They're ready to start the process of having the county adopt them. So I will let Nadine kind of go through her presentation, but that's essentially what this is. This is the beginning of the process to adopt the new maps for the floodplain.
Quick question on this floodplain. When you put this in, because the last time, remember, we got all them conflicts with everybody because of the insurance and then they couldn't be insured. So what's this all gonna do again?
Well, the floodplain's already there. This is gonna update the maps, but because of that, I personally think the county should notify every person. And we got a list from DNIC. But I think the county needs to send out a notice to every person that this is going to affect with a letter just saying the floodplain maps have been updated. They are looking to be adopted. It will change your property. Some of them are getting changed for the better. Some of them are gonna get changed for the worse, but some kind of notice should go out, which will slow down our process a little bit. But given how how much conflict and kickback we had last time.
Yeah, we have
I think it's really important that we notify every person that this is going to affect, that this will affect your
That
property.
was one of my biggest concerns, that people need to know what's coming down to the fact that last time it was, wow,
Yeah.
we took a beating on it, so. That's all I,
Okay.
and it's one before my squirrel.
Thank you. Yeah, we came, we partner with the county and FEMA got some grant money. A few years back, we started this back in 2019. So the Clark Fork and Rock Creek already have floodplain maps on them. A little bit of background on those maps. When Flint Creek got their new maps, they essentially just took the Clark Fork and the Rock Creek maps and they put them in the digital environment with no new study. So the county has been trying to work with permitting and everything else on these rivers with maps with data based off of the 70s. So there hasn't been a new study through the Clark Fork or Rock Creek corridor. And that's what this will do, is it's doing a new study, getting new updated, accurate information that'll help make everybody's lives a little bit easier when it comes to permitting, so.
So I can throw away all the old flood maps.
Not yet, but soon, yes, yes.
For the Clark Fork
And,
and Rock Creek,
And Rock Creek.
but not for Flint Creek.
So what we're talking about today is floodplain mapping. Just a quick recap of what floodplain mapping is for, is to help keep property and people out of harm's way by identifying risk. Like I said, this is a partnership with the county. Actually, the town of Drummond is actually getting some new floodplain maps. Part of this project also included Missoula County and the City of Missoula. They are also operating off of maps from the data from the late 70s, early 80s. So we don't map any old flood event. What goes on these floodplain maps is what we like to call the 100-year flood event. It's a very bad term. A better way is not to think of it in terms of years, but it's the flood event that has a 1% chance of occurring in any given year. So that's why you can have 100-year flood events back to back.
And is there still where people have a conflict with it, is it still that they can get a hold of you guys and see if they can get theirs reduced or out or in or whatever?
Kind of, yep. So depending on where they're located in this new mapping, if they feel like they're higher than what the new maps are showing, they can submit what's called a map amendment to FEMA directly. It doesn't come through us. And they can ask FEMA to give them a different designation. But as part of this mapping process, which we aren't to this step yet, there will be a formal appeal and comment period where if a property owner or somebody has better data, they can submit it to dispute the maps, and FEMA actually will review that. So we're gonna be on the history of the kind of jumping all over the place a little bit. So yeah, like I said, for Clark Fork, the original study was conducted in 1979. So it's a little bit old, and they just put it into nice, pretty FEMA maps. And then for Rock Creek, that study data is from 1975. So that's kind of what prompted us to come in and talk with the county and say, hey, we have this money. Would you like new data for your rivers? And we got a letter of support from the county. When we started this project, it just said, yes, please, we're tired of trying to deal with these maps. I have bad of data it has on them. So we've been working on it since 2019. You'll notice the flood studies might have these in a little bit bigger handouts to give you, so you have them for property owners and stuff. It's taken quite a while, but essentially what happens is during a new study, they take measurements of the ground and build the topography. They do this with a combination of both aerial and in-stream work. And then they figure out how much water will be in that river during what we call the 100-year flood event. This is called the hydrology. And then they take both of those and engineers model where they think the floods will go during that event. And that's delineated and considered what we call the 100-year flood event.
What's a bathymetric or basymetric?
So it's really silly. My youngest daughter said it sounded like a bath. So what they do is they're taking, it makes sense. They're taking in survey work inside the river. Because the LiDAR doesn't penetrate the water. So they're kind of measuring the bath. If you think about it, I don't know if that's really. So we're kind of at this draft data stage. We have sent all the data and information to the county, and you should have access to all of the reports, all of the information and the paper maps. That's what this is.
That'll all go on the website.
We did develop a project website for this too, so you can link to ours or you can create your own. But on there, all the reports are on there. Along with the tentative timeline for this project, kind of what we're anticipating is going to be happening. So like I said, we're at draft data stage. This is where we really have a good idea of what could be changing with the new study. And this is where we start sharing it with the public. So as part of this, one of our GIS people built a really neat viewer to make it easier, because it's hard to lay out all the paper maps and try to see what's going on. So this is a nice interactive viewer that someone can type in their property address and zoom right in and see what kind of changes are happening to them. And this is also the time where we like to host public open house meetings, which we'll kind of talk about towards the end. Like I said, this is also with Missoula County and the city of Missoula. And they're hoping to do it together so that their people from Rock Creek can maybe come over here, and if there's Clarkwood people that can go there.
So when you look at these and where you got them set up, and then when you look at on there, does it show you if this goes out this far and that's the floodplain? And then I guess it shows you can't.
It kind of shows you, it shows you where they think it's lying on the ground, so that when you look at it, you can see kind of where you think it is. But if it's disputed, if the landowner is saying no, or there's an elevation there, they can actually go get a surveyor to find their elevation and say, we are definitely above this elevation.
I guess that's what I just so there's a danger going to build.
Yeah.
Does FEMA then come look at it when you file that amended map, or what do they do?
FEMA doesn't actually come look at the
Okay.
property, so
Okay,
part of the submittal to FEMA would be from a surveyor or professional engineer saying how high that area around a home would be. And then it's compared to the flood elevation, which is something new that you actually will now have in most of Rock Creek, which you didn't have before. You have flood elevations that'll help those landowners through there. And then somewhere in a dark room, FEMA makes a decision and they should send the landowner a letter back. So you're asking about the different zones, so that's what this is. So anywhere you see the blue area, this is what we're calling that 100-year floodplain. This is where if a landowner has a federally backed mortgage and they're in this area, their lender will require them to carry flood insurance. Now that red hatching in the middle. That's also part of the 100-year floodplain, but it's called the floodway. And that's generally where we see the deepest and fastest moving water. That's pretty much the river itself. And only in Montana, because of this designation, there is no new building in the floodway. And then anywhere you see this brown is what we call the 500-year. The county doesn't regulate to that. It would take a much larger flood event to hit this area. But it's just on the maps for more informational purpose.
And this is just as a rain or an over, not a dam break.
It is not a dam break, no.
Sorry.
No, I like that, the question.
How do you estimate the volume in a 100-year event? So, I mean, you gotta have an estimate that so much is gonna come down. And then also in Rock Creek, you know, they burned off a lot of forest and, you know, and that holds water. Is that taken into account?
So groundwater is not taken into account. Generally, how they determine how much water will be in there, it's using stream gauge information.
Is what?
Stream gauges. Anywhere that there isn't a stream gauge, we work with the USGS and they have statistical analysis for our engineers that determine how much water could be in that watershed in any given time.
Well, as far as the forest fires, you know, that's not groundwater. I mean, that comes down and the trees don't hold it if there's no trees. And some of them burn so hot, there's not gonna be trees there for a long time. And so then it'll come down
So
at a greater volume quicker than it would if the trees were standing in green.
and we don't generally consider flash floods. This would be more of like sustained flooding where they run how much water and then they fill up the areas, the low areas first. And that's how the maps will be more determined. It's in an engineering model that I'm not an engineer. They send me to do all the communications, so that's generally how they determine it though. So I did want to kind of run through that viewer a little bit so that everybody has a good understanding of how to use it. When the user first gets to the viewer, which you can get to from the project website, the first thing you're going to see are those draft maps. So nice and easy. There's instructions on this sidebar over here that can tell the user how to find their home. You can either zoom in or zoom out or input an address.
It's kind of a dumb question, but it's, say now where they've redone these irrigation ditches, do they take them into, you know, if it starts flooding where they rebuild it so much and widen them and that, do they take that into?
Sometimes irrigation ditches get included as like an overbank flooding source, but generally no. Because this is Montana. I mean, I live by an irrigation ditch. And
I just, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if they take that, you know, or they start coming down there and they redid that Allendale and some of them others that if it, you know, I'm just. The biggest conflict before was that they got it so wide and everybody was so upset.
Yeah, when they redid Allendale, they did actually do a little more, letter of map amendment.
Oh.
So they did actually amend that one. But that was a big federally funded state funded project, which is why they did it. Most of them, that stuff never gets updated. So,
And I will say, when we had our contractors walk us through the study area, it looks like for the most part, Rock Creek is very well behaved in its channel. So it likes to stay in there. It's doesn't have a very wide floodplain. But the Clark Fork is a different story.
I
It's
think
a
the
pretty
biggest
big.
place was up above there, when we had the conflict.
yeah, well, and the thing is on the Rock Creek, the valley is so narrow that it limits the ability of that floodplain, but that, you know, yeah, I mean, I don't know how that's gonna go with some of those landowners in there. Because they're, you know, since the 70s, the river has moved a lot. I mean, a lot. There's some of those people who have lost, 50 feet of frontage to the river, and they're gonna find out that where they put their house in the 70s is now in the floodplain, and that's where it's gonna end up starting.
Absolutely, yeah.
Because I do think we're gonna end up with that.
No, you're okay. So tab 2 on the viewer is your current maps. If somebody really wanted to look at those. I'm a very visual person, so I very much appreciate tabs 3 and 4. Tabs 3 and 4 are a comparison from the draft data to your effective data. So when you land on this page, anywhere that somebody would see green is land that is proposed to be removed from the floodplain. Anywhere that's red is land that's proposed to be added. And anywhere that you see the blue is no change from the existing. So it's a nice visual representation. It's easier for somebody to really understand the changes. It helps me.
They narrowed it up a lot on some of that.
Yep, so also on here, I did want to put the 2 tables. If you notice, they're actually on the slide itself. That has the numbers. Let's get down to the brass tacks, right? So for the Rock Creek and Tribs.
That's true.
Tributaries, so like Willow Creek, any of those little streams that are feeding Rock Creek. We updated the study information on there too. So for Rock Creek. We accounted for acres to find out how many acres were either not changing, coming out, or going in. And then structures over 400 square feet, thinking more like homes, big barns, and then structures under 400 feet, so sheds, that kind of stuff. But like I said, Rock Creek is well behaved. It stays within its channel. And it looks like for the whole study area, there's gonna not be a change to about 60 structures in that blue area. There's only gonna be 1 home still located in the floodway. 1 additional home added to the floodway. But because of the updated topography, we're proposing to remove 3 homes from that floodway. So for Rock Creek, in terms of how many homes are coming in or going out, it looks like more will be proposed to come out than go in. Now, Clark Fork, it's kind of a wash a little bit too. So 67 structures are proposed or are not going to be changing from the existing. So there's already that many in. 27 of those are located in the floodway, and those will stay in. 21 have been being proposed to be added to that blue area. 16 to the floodway. But with the new updated mapping, 27 are proposed to be removed, where 12 are proposed to be removed from the floodway. So more still also on the Clark Fork proposed to come out
Can I
and
ask
go back in.
a quick question?
Yeah.
on that? Does that include the town of Drummond?
It does not, so, I am gonna go see them this afternoon. All in all, they have no new structures going in the floodplain period. And actually 12 were proposed to come out. So I don't know if you remember when Flint Creek got remapped, there was some controversy with the town of Drummond. With that little area right by the bridge as it comes in. So the new refined mapping,
Which,
Where the highway has their, that big bridge that goes right next to Drummond. Essentially, when the highway put their highway in and they bermed it up, they bermed under the bridge. And that has just caused all that water to back up.
Yep.
And then it just, like the floodplain comes into Drummond this way and then it just whoops Because it all hits that berm that's under the Montana Highway 1 bridge. And yeah, there's like 2, 3 little narrow spots it's supposed to go under the bridge. And it just balloons. It's ridiculous when you look at it, kind of.
But now with this new study, because it went kind of far into the city from that, it had this weird low spot right through there and it hooked around up to the interstate a little bit. That's actually gonna be pushed back.
Oh, good.
So they're gonna have 12 structures being supposed to be removed from the floodplain. So the mayor might like me again. There's 2 other additional tabs on the viewer. You'll find this great. So when they flew the LiDAR to get the new topography, they also got the topography around structures, around homes. And it's more for informational purposes. It can't be used for a Loma yet. We're working on it. But tab 5 has these little teeny tiny pink boxes, and that's somebody's home. Somebody can click on that. I could click on it if my home was there, find the closest flood elevation and see if I'm close. It's a neat informational function, really helps a landowner make a decision if they want to actually hire an engineer to go out and do this. If they're too far below, then they know they gotta do some work.
So this is up and running right now.
It is, yes, yes. It's a really neat tool. So the last tab of this, also just for informational, we had our contractors tell us how deep we expect the water to get during that 100 years. So it shows water depth. This will help for your emergency manager to determine roads if they get overtopped. It'll help for planning. It's just another neat function. So talking about regulations, the county have floodplain regulations, as we know, that regulate development within the 100-year floodplain. Doesn't mean that people can't develop, it just means they have to develop differently and with a permit. Permits are required for any man-made activities, including construction and modifications to existing structures. And then any new construction must be elevated by the county floodplain regulations 2 feet above that flood elevation. And then improvements to any existing buildings that equal or exceed 50% of the value of the home must be brought into compliance, so elevated 2 feet above that flood elevation. Talking about insurance, not a insurance person, but we know that the flood zones are to set flood insurance rates. Flood insurance is required for any federally backed loan in a high-risk flood zone. So that blue and then that red hatched area. Flood insurance isn't required in any other zone, but we do recommend it. And I will point out that lenders can require flood insurance anywhere. Flood insurance is also the best form of recovery during a flood event. We've been doing a lot of work with Carbon County and Park County and Stillwater as they recover from the floods this spring. And those landowners that had flood insurance have already started to receive payments, where those that did not are still waiting on disaster assistance. So
Is there gonna be disaster assistance available or is it there or?
so they don't, the disaster assistance that comes in after a big flood event is not ever intended to make somebody whole. The most we've ever seen come through by FEMA is maybe $30,000. So some of those homes that fell in the river that didn't have flood insurance, the most they can get would be $30,000. So flood insurance really is the best way to protect your property.
But I guess that's 30, so $30,000 all you're gonna get if your flood fell, or if your house fell in the water. But even if your house was set way back out of the floodplain, in that case where it just was a crazy event. You know, they may never have told you you needed flood insurance, but then you're gonna end up never getting
Oh,
a recovery, yeah.
Their homes that were like, yeah, way up on
Yeah.
the,
So the
above
one,
the
like,
river that were sliding in.
Yeah, because the river ate
Yeah.
out underneath. I mean,
if I have it, I don't need it, but I have flood insurance, I can't. It's cheaper if you live outside of the high hazard zones. That's also not meant to make you whole. I think the most of policy is $250,000. It's just meant to help repair structural things.
it's crazy.
Yeah. Homeowners insurance does not cover flooding, period, doesn't cover wildfires or earthquakes either.
after having done this part of the work, the floodplain stuff for the last 4 years or so, this is the most moving target policies that are out there. It's unpredictable. You don't know where the waters are going. No matter how well you map it, things happen. You get forest fire events. Takes your structure out. You get irrigation ditches, it takes your structures out. It's such a moving target. And it's incredibly difficult to permit and regulate, I think, and all we can do is the best we can do. But like I said, I definitely think we need to notify people and sorry, gotta find that page in here now. We're never gonna hear from the 27 people coming out, but we're sure gonna hear from the 21 people going in to the flood insurance, because flood insurance isn't cheap. And they're gonna get noticed by their lenders that they need it now, and it's a couple $1,000 at times that you gotta come up with at the beginning of the year in one lump. And they don't do payments, they don't do nothing, you just gotta have the money and be ready to do it.
But it's their option to get insurance.
If they have a federally backed loan, it is not.
Yeah, they have to get
They're
there.
required by their lender to get flood insurance, so it's just a protection. Their lender wants to protect their investment.
Yeah. And would you be the one that is gonna notify the people with that? Yeah, I will be
Yeah.
the one that notifies the people for the county, and like I said, they provided us with the list. Yeah.
And we have a template postcard for you.
Okay,
Um,
and we're gonna I just think it's a smart thing to do at this point. I don't think you can notify them enough. I think if you at least have something on the record that says, hey, we notified you that it was potentially going to change, and then at that point, it's really up to the people to,
Take care of themselves.
take care of themselves and look it up, but.
You have it in the newspaper and website. And
I'll link your project website on our website too.
Perfect.
So,
And the links in here.
perfect.
So before I did want to talk about the open houses. Tiffany, she's the other lead for the mapping. She helped with the Flint Creek mapping update. Found this neat little function. Now, this is from realtor.com. I don't know where they're pulling their data. I don't know where it's coming from. But I went through and compared 2 properties in Granite County for flood insurance. It gives you a flood insurance cost. So there's 2 homes. One's actually vacant land. One is 13 Dolly Barton Court. And that one is not in the special flood hazard area. It's not going to be newly mapped in. So that flood insurance policy could be anywhere from $435 to $905 a year. Has to be paid up front, can't be included in escrow. The other one is 3 Upper Rock Creek Road. It's vacant land. It's getting ready to be sold. That flood insurance for that property could be anywhere from $864 to $2,020 a year. So FEMA redid their flood insurance, how they rate it. It's called Equity in Action. It's a private conversation with the landowner and their insurance agent, similar to how we do car insurance. We call and it's based off our year, our driving record. What kind of, if we have a sports car or a big monster truck that can destroy everything on the road. It is so hard to get costs now, or even comparisons to landowners. When we do these meetings, they're gonna ask, well, how much am I gonna have to pay? And unfortunately, the way that this has been redone by FEMA, we don't know. We don't know what the cost could potentially be for that landowner. So I just wanted to kind of also help prepare you as you get phone calls from landowners.
Thank you very much.
So I guess the only other next steps would be, please take a look at the viewer, look at the data. Missoula County and the city of Missoula are putting together some public open house meetings. October 18th, or no, I think 18th is a Monday. So whatever the week of the 18th, that Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday would be.
Well, if we was gonna do that, we'd wanna make sure to notify the people first, so they have it, otherwise it's a weird.
Right.
Way they don't have the letter to
So maybe in the
bring it
postcard.
back in the after the presentation.
Yep, so for the, on the postcard, you can hear it, if you know of a spot that maybe we could have it. Maybe somewhere here in Phillipsburg or wherever you think would be best. To have it that week along with Missoula County and Missoula. And then that way, like I said, Rock Creek, people from Missoula County can come here if they want it, but for at the end.
So you said you could access this right now. Would it be something that we put on the website?
Yep, we're gonna link it.
Okay,
Is there a time frame that FEMA and DNRC are looking for us to get this adopted by?
So this is pretty ambitious at FEMA. They think they're gonna have your prelim maps ready by January.
And I guess this is another one of my issues that happened. And it wasn't as big of a deal on the Flint Creek. But it is gonna be a bigger deal, I think, on the Rock Creek especially, is that these are seasonal. I mean, I bet you 50% of everybody in there is seasonal now, and they show up in the summer. And for us to be adopting in the winter is really not giving those people, I think, their chance to comment, because, you know, they're just not here. Even if we went and held a meeting in the Rock Creek in February, which is not ideal by any means, you know, what kind of a turnout are we gonna get when half of the people are just not there? They just are seasonal, they're not there.
so you got a Zoom thing where you could go and
We could potentially do a
do
Zoom
some
thing.
Zoom. There's no other way to.
We've done all virtual meetings during COVID. That's the only way we could do them. So it was the same for Madison County. They have a bunch of seasonal residents. So they were able to participate seasonally from wherever they were at. The only thing would be is that for us, for the rollout of the draft data, would October be too quick to get postcards out? To invite people to a meeting.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if we've got to address them all and, you know, which we will have to address them all ourselves, even if we can get them printed. It's just, it's a couple days just to get them all addressed. And when we're talking hundreds of people that have to get their notice.
300.
So the list that they're giving you, is it like a word list where you can go in and pull it into a mailing?
I haven't looked at it.
It's an Excel spreadsheet and I
Yeah,
think there's like 300. It's like two and some change, I think.
that in itself, you should be able to pull it into a mailing, right? The addresses.
And
Or do they have, are they addresses?
yeah, we can go, there's addresses and then there's what kind of land it is. We did remove the duplicates. Cause you know, 5 landowners, one person can own 5 plots along a river, so why send 5 postcards and.
So Claudette has a label printer now. It's really nice.
Oh,
We
okay.
use that, you know.
And we do offer a virtual component. We'll do that to try to. Missoula County has 3,800 landowners that are coming. I started switching. So, I mean, we will offer a virtual component for people to listen to the presentation. There just won't be that opportunity for them to sit down with one of us one-on-one and talk through this.
I guess back to something that's, Scott, I think you said earlier, what happens if somebody says, no, I don't want my property in it? I mean, what are their rights really, as if they say, no, I don't want, and my place was never flooded, I don't want it in, I don't want to spend the money to go get a surveyor, I don't have the money to go get a surveyor. What are their options for getting out at that point? Are there any?
Not really, not without providing better technical data, because that's what the purpose of the new study was to do, was to provide better data, better information using updated and processes, so. It would require actual survey work or something for them to actually be removed from that footprint.
Alrighty, we have anything else?
Nope, just, do we want to coordinate with this, maybe after to talk about maybe open house meetings and what you want to do?
Yeah,
Because we don't have to do them with the county, Missoula County and the city. It was just a thought there.
yeah, I mean. I guess that'll be up to the commissioners to decide if you wanted to do a joint meeting with Missoula County and. On floodplain, I'm kind of thinking, no, I don't want to do a joint meeting with Missoula County.
I just am not. It's-
Yeah,
Oh, well, then I would run. So that's even
They
better.
would.
well,
And
and I guess there's just vastly different government styles between the two counties. And
Talk it over.
that's my opinion.
so would it be more beneficial if we were to try to hold a virtual one, all virtual one? Or do you want to do a hybrid? Because we've done that too. So during the thick of COVID in Whitehall, we had people that did not want to log in virtually. So we had somebody go in person and just work with them in person. And then at that time, I was the one that was presenting. So they streamed me live in the event hall.
I like this meeting's on Zoom both, so that's a good idea.
I guess this is you guys figured out not to bring back that plan.
Okay, we'll do that.
All right,
Do what?
let them figure it out and then bring something back to us.
Okay.
I thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Good.
And I'll then do that. Oh,
Yeah, here you just, or here if anyone's done with your packet or.
okay, yeah.
I
sent
just
this-
need to feel the website off.
it was
Pretty easy. It's floodplain.mt.gov/
Oh,
Missoula-Grand. But it's the links on there too.
perfect.
Alrighty, well, thank you very much. Not trying to hurry it or not other stuff.
No, you're totally
Give
fine.
you a little more time.
Awesome. Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Get that and come back. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Linda, for all you do.
Okay, so we're going on to the,
Oh, can I get one from you?
Yep, I'll make copies and put
Okay.
it on the website.
Okay, thank
the resolution 2022-10, a resolution setting Granite County's 2022-2023 fiscal year budget, including salaries of all Granite County elected officials and deputies and their cost of living increase their county employees. Second reading decision.
Okay, so we did make a change
Okay,
on the resolution from last week. And instead of putting the be attached to the resolution, the budget, we said the budget documents will be on file with the Granite County Clerk and Recorder's Office.
Okay.
Which I make a motion that we
accept them.
resolution 2022-10. setting the fiscal year budget for 22-23.
Okay, do I have a second?
Yep, my second.
Any public comment on it?
Yeah.
All in favor?
Hi.
Aye, motion carried and passed. Good set. Okay. So. So the next one's a county election form for allocation redesignation of.
No, it's setting.
The second Grand County fiscal.
What about it?
Oh, there it is. Set of Granite County physical year.
Okay, and one thing that. Adopting the budget and setting the levies is two completely different. Things, duties for the budget calendar. And. So we made sure we wanted to get it in there. That because we were missing the town's levies from last week, so as you see on this, we now have all the levies, and I make a motion that we set Granite County's fiscal year 22-23 levies.
My second.
Any public comment? Means none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, good job, you guys. Motion been carried past, sorry. Here, come. Okay, now I'm on the track, right?
Did you sign the resolution as well?
I didn't know if this was a original or if it's a.
Yeah, you can go ahead and sign that one. I don't think she's stamped them, so you could start with that one and pass there, I'm sure.
BLA what? Okay, so, county election form for allocation recognition of secure rural school act state payments discussion and decision. This
Okay.
is what we went over.
Yes, this is the one where it bypassed us. We, I thought that the allocation would stay the same, but it won't. It will default to 80% going to the schools and the road, and then 20% going to forest preserve. Where we've always done 85% for school and roads, 8% for title. Look at title. 8% Granite.
This has to be done today.
Yes, we have to get it, it has to be emailed to, in by the 16th, so yeah, so. Title 2 is 8% and Title 3 is 7%. So, where before, if we let it go 80-20, then 20% is going to these reserve things and more back to the treasurer. So we're losing 5% for the schools and road. Okay, so I make a motion that we set our allocation for 85% for school and roads, 8% for Title II, and 7% for Title III.
Also gonna.
Any public comment on this?
Being not familiar with how this stuff works, I did have an interest in, I heard in the community, there's a student at the school that we're not ADA compliant with his handicap needs. I don't know where this comment.
I can't hear you.
Come on up and speak up.
So concerning the schools and, budget for, things. There is a handicapped student at the school and we're not ADA compliant with meeting his needs. And I just wanted to bring that forward for your discussion. I don't know where this comment belongs.
So on this SRS, it is allocation from the federal government. And there is a formula the treasurer has to do to make make it a point of how much the schools get and how much the road gets. And so that has nothing to do with whether or not there's, that money just goes right to them and they, I think it's discretionary for their use of the funds. They are allotted from our formula that the road gets some. And we can't go any higher than 85%.
And we don't know what they do with it
Yeah,
or how they.
Right,
do it.
that's school district, that we have. nothing
Yeah,
to say.
so then as far as the ADA compliant in the school, that's, yeah, it would totally be up to the school, be a school board issue.
School
Yeah,
board
school board
discretion
issue.
to bring it back, because they have the discretion to address that.
Well, yeah,
Non.
they have discretion to use the money, but required by law to follow ADA, and it's on them to get the.
So
So the county commission wouldn't have any authority over the school district to tell me you're out of compliance to your job, they have to.
I could follow up with somebody to find out about school meetings and stuff.
I've talked to the superintendent, probably talked to the superintendent.
Did they have meetings?
They have monthly meetings, I think,
Second Tuesday of the month, I think, or first Tuesday of the month for Phillipsburg. Or Drummond.
I can follow up with you later.
Drummond's, is tonight. Oh, no, it was last night.
So then maybe Phillipsburg. I feel like theirs is always the week after. I'll look, I will follow up with you.
Thank you, Jill.
Is there any other public comment? Means none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried, pass.
I do want to put out, thank you to actually the email that came from Susie Browning that letting us know that we were kind of goofing up a little bit.
No,
Yeah.
So that was an appreciation. of her.
Okay.
No, I just publicly announced,
You know what?
and I did thank her anyway when I got the emails. No, it was a
Yeah, they-
dumb. It was. We didn't get advised, the research wasn't done well enough for us really, and this is the first time it's ever happened
Yeah.
in
Things
10
change.
years, so it slipped by us, but thankfully. I guess the forum. Would that be the chairman that has to fill out the, so like. Title I is 85. And then the state, and this is 7.
About 80.
Okay, while they're doing that, we'll go ahead and jump into the DNRC's request for use of Drummond Airport discussion decision. Is that one I brought up, is probably just to let the people know if they're done now.
I advise you should be on the agenda because you made the emergency decision, so then now you can have time to have it on. One thing I would say is if you have emergencies where they need to get helicopters in and save homes or whatever, you don't have time to get on, there's no time, sufficient time to get on the agenda. And if it's my home or whoever at home in the county, they're wanting you guys to make the decision, so I don't think you're doing anything wrong.
Okay.
But, yeah.
All right, well, that pretty much does that. We still got 8 minutes.
On this,
No, I agree with you, because I mean, you can't wait a week and then wonder what the.
do we have to make a motion that things we already did? I make a motion that DNRC request for use of Drummond Airport is accepted. Or as
I guess in your motion, would that be further down the line if they call one of us and they can use it, that we don't.
right, maybe we ought to have a policy, just a policy, vote on a policy that says we can do that.
Well, I encourage you, yeah, you do the motion to allow this for this time, and then we'd look to have like a mutual aid or some type of agreement with them.
Would something like having a motion at beginning of fire season for any requests from?
Well, you know, they use it too as a, you know, they do that training and stuff, so I don't know if it'd be just a fire season or would be year round if they needed to use it. Or
I think you're around, something could happen very quick.
Is
It
it,
was,
a motion like that on a yearly basis may be good because the Forest Service comes in as well, and then it's like. It kind of, I don't know, delay them, but it's, yeah, you might want to,
Like a
Consider
blanket motion saying,
Like,
yeah.
Yeah,
so any
Everybody's-
county
yeah,
property, anything, that if there's an emergency, that we can just
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah,
so that a second.
second.
Is that the one we're doing?
I just
So maybe motion.
extended it more. You would.
I did, I got seconded. then.
No, he said.
well, what I would potentially have you do is, just for. It's on the agenda just for DRC this time, but then like, yeah, in January, have it on again
Yeah,
for, for a general one for the year.
Okay.
Okay, I'll second for the.
Any
Yeah.
public comment? Being none, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Yeah, the only reason I said it was just to give the people heads up and the helicopter coming in.
Yeah, but you don't have to defend yourself continually for something that was okay. Just because we had a comment that they didn't feel it was, and okay, they put their 2 cents in and enough said.
Thank you.
So Billy, you see why we did the 85, the 87. Okay,
Yep.
just keeping it the same the way it was before.
I'm glad to see you back, Willie.
Thanks.
Yeah,
I'm
back.
Like, well,
I'm happy to be back. It was going stir crazy.
Next time, don't be so damn bullheaded. Go in when you're getting sick.
I went 3 times.
Don't- don't-
Yeah, nasty stuff. I heard other people with, yeah,
Some
bad
really
stuff
bad
too,
people.
yeah, so.
Yeah.
Especially elderly people.
Well, I got that pneumonia shot, because bacterial pneumonia is still Billy, it's still Muhammad Ali. And a bunch of other things.
Suppressed immune system or whatever it is.
Could I make another comment? I should have, on that floodplain stuff where gravity law, and stuff comes, I forgot to ask Jackie if she had any comments.
what's she on?
She was on for part of it and then she hopped off. She was on and off.
I forgot all about to ask her about the comments on it, because if she gets, on that flooding and stuff.
Yeah,
I'm assuming Linda's will work with her and.
Yeah.
I just wanted to know. Good job, everybody.
So budget's adopted, levy set, we're all good.
all right, are
Good
you?
work.
Good job, guys.
All right, I'm gonna end your meeting.